Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Christopher Gardner. If you're over 60 and you love avocados, you're not alone. They're creamy, nutritious, and packed with healthy fats that your body absolutely needs. But here's the shocking truth. Most seniors are eating avocados the wrong way, and it could be silently damaging your health. Today, I'll show you the 6 mistakes seniors must avoid when eating avocados, especially if you want to protect your heart, your joints, your weight, and even your brain. Let's start by getting one thing straight. Avocados are not your enemy. In fact, they're one of the most nutrient-rich, heart-supportive foods available to us today. They're rich in monounsaturated fats, high in fiber, loaded with potassium, and full of antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which support your vision, cognitive function, and even immune health. But here's the part most people over 60 don't hear enough. Even healthy foods can backfire if you're not paying attention to portions. I meet a lot of well-meaning seniors in my clinic, and many of them are trying their best. They've eliminated sodas, they've cut back on processed meats, and they've swapped out margarine for avocado. Sounds good, right? And it is, up to a point. But I always ask, how much are you eating? And that's when the truth comes out. 1 avocado a day, sometimes 2, mixed into smoothies, salads, guacamole, toast, you name it. And while it seems like a clean, green decision, it could quietly be sabotaging their health goals without them even realizing it. Let me explain why this matters. 1 medium avocado has about 240 calories and roughly 22 grams of fat. Yes, it's the good fat, the kind that helps your HDL cholesterol go up and your LDL come down. But just because it's good doesn't mean more is better. That's a mistake I see again and again, especially with older adults who are trying to eat healthier but aren't fully tuned into how their body's needs change with age. As we age, our basal metabolic rate naturally decreases. That means your body simply doesn't burn calories as efficiently as it did in your 20s, 30s, or even 50s. You could eat the exact same foods you did 10 years ago and still find yourself gaining weight. Combine that with reduced physical activity, something that naturally happens as joints stiffen, energy wanes, or mobility becomes more limited, and you have a perfect storm: excess calorie intake with reduced calorie output. And this is where the innocent avocado comes into play. Let's say you're having avocado toast in the morning, 2 slices of bread, half a mashed avocado. That's a good start, but then lunch rolls around and you decide to add another half avocado to your salad. Then later, maybe you snack on some tortilla chips with guacamole. By the end of the day, you've consumed an entire avocado, maybe even more. That adds up to well over 200 extra calories. And while it may not seem like a big deal on a single day compounded over weeks and months, it can absolutely contribute to gradual weight gain. And I'm not talking about vanity weight. I'm talking about functional weight, the type of weight gain that puts pressure on the knees, makes it harder to move freely, and increases your risk of insulin resistance, sleep apnea, cardiovascular strain, and even cognitive decline. When your body stores excess fat, especially around the abdomen, it doesn't just sit there quietly. That fat becomes metabolically active, releasing inflammatory chemicals that can affect everything from your joints to your memory to your mood. Now, I want to be clear, I am not telling you to stop eating avocados. Far from it. What I'm saying is this: use this superfood wisely. Think of it like a supplement, powerful in the right dose, problematic in excess. The ideal serving size for most seniors is about 1/4 to 1/2 of an avocado per day, depending on your individual calorie needs and activity levels. When I work with patients, I often recommend starting with just 1/4 of an avocado, mashed onto a slice of whole grain toast or added to a bowl of beans or a fresh vegetable wrap. That's enough to give you the healthy fats, the creamy texture, and the satiety boost, without pushing your fat intake over the edge. Portion awareness isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. When you're aware of how much you're consuming, you gain control over your weight, your energy levels, and your long-term health. And portion control is even more essential when dealing with calorie-dense foods like avocados, nuts, seeds, and oils, the kinds of foods that don't look heavy but pack a serious caloric punch. Another important point is how easy it is to underestimate how much we're eating. Most people think they're eating a half avocado when in reality they've eaten a whole. Why? Because once it's mashed or chopped into a salad or blended into a smoothie, it's hard to track. That's why I recommend pre-slicing or pre-portioning your avocados. You can slice the avocado into quarters as soon as you open it, store the remainder with a bit of lemon juice to keep it fresh, and use only what you need for that meal. This helps you stay accountable without having to count calories or weigh food obsessively. And let's not forget about balance. When you use avocado as a topping or addition rather than the main feature, you allow room for other essential nutrients, lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. These are the pillars of longevity and strength, especially after 60. A well-balanced plate is always better than a one-trick meal, no matter how healthy that one ingredient might be. Here's something else to consider. People often replace animal fats with avocado thinking it's automatically a healthier choice, and in many cases it is. But it shouldn't be a one-to-one calorie replacement. For example, replacing 3 eggs and a sausage with a massive avocado bowl doesn't necessarily result in fewer calories or better metabolic outcomes. Again, it's about balance, not just swapping one fat for another. Lastly, I always emphasize listening to your body. If you're gaining weight despite eating what you think are clean foods, it's time to zoom in and ask yourself, am I eating too much of a good thing? The answer is often yes, and awareness is the first step toward correction. So let me wrap this up with a gentle challenge. The next time you eat an avocado, pause and ask yourself, how much of this do I really need to feel satisfied and nourished? You'll find that a smaller portion still delivers all the flavor, all the nutrients, and none of the silent consequences that come with overdoing it. Avocados are amazing, but like all powerful things, they require wisdom, and the older we get, the more that wisdom matters. Eat them, enjoy them, but always, always stay mindful. Your health is in your hands, and it starts with one simple choice at a time. There's no question that avocados are a nutritional powerhouse. I tell my patients all the time, if you're going to eat fat, let it be this kind. Rich in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, packed with fiber, brimming with potassium, loaded with antioxidants. It's one of the few foods I consistently recommend for seniors trying to maintain vitality, energy, and sharpness. But there's one mistake I see far too often: eating avocados alone, without protein. Let me explain why this matters, especially after age 60. As we age, our bodies undergo a number of changes. Our metabolism slows down, our muscle mass declines, and our ability to absorb and utilize certain nutrients becomes less efficient. One of the most significant changes, and one of the least talked about, is something called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. This starts as early as your 40s, but accelerates after 60. And here's the thing, once you start losing muscle, you start losing function, balance, mobility, posture, even your ability to recover from illness or injury. It doesn't just affect your body, it affects your independence. That's where protein comes in. Protein is essential for muscle repair and maintenance. It provides the amino acids your body needs to rebuild tissue, support enzymes, maintain immune health, and fuel metabolic function. And the older you get, the more protein you actually need, not less. So where does avocado fit into this? Well, avocado is often mistakenly treated as a complete food. You'll see people spreading it on toast and calling it a meal, or tossing half an avocado on a salad and thinking they've covered all the nutritional bases. And while avocado is a great source of fat and fiber, it contains very little protein, less than 3 grams per fruit. Let that sink in. A food with nearly 240 calories and 22 grams of fat gives you just 3 grams of protein. That's not a balanced macronutrient profile, and it's certainly not enough to support muscle health in aging adults. Here's what often happens. A senior eats a breakfast of avocado toast, maybe with a sprinkle of seeds or some tomato. They feel full, yes, because of the fat and fiber, but that fullness is deceptive because it doesn't support anabolism, the process of building and maintaining lean muscle tissue. Over time, that lack of protein at meals starts to catch up. Energy drops, muscles weaken, recovery slows, and we scratch our heads wondering why the healthy foods aren't working. The key is this: fat keeps you full, protein keeps you functional. You need both, but you need them in the right balance. So let me give you a few examples of how to do this right. Instead of just avocado on toast, add a poached or scrambled egg on top. Eggs are a complete protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids your body needs. That one egg adds around 6 grams of high-quality protein, and now you have a meal that supports both your cardiovascular and musculoskeletal systems. Another option? Toss avocado into a black bean salad. Beans are a fantastic plant-based protein source, rich in both protein and fiber. Pairing half an avocado with half a cup of black beans gets you closer to that 15-20 gram protein mark we aim for in meals. If you enjoy smoothies, don't just blend avocado with fruit and call it a day. Add in some Greek yogurt, silken tofu, or a high-quality protein powder. This creates a creamy, satisfying, muscle-supporting drink that's far more complete nutritionally. One of my favorite combinations, especially for lunch, is a salmon and avocado wrap. A small portion of wild-caught salmon delivers omega-3s and 20-plus grams of protein. Add sliced avocado, some leafy greens, and a sprouted wrap or lettuce leaf, and you've got a powerful anti-inflammatory, muscle-friendly meal. You see, when you combine avocado with protein, you're not just checking nutritional boxes. You're building a foundation. You're protecting your strength, your stamina, your bones, your metabolism, even your mood. Protein also helps regulate blood sugar levels, which is critical for older adults who may be at risk of insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. When you eat carbohydrates or fats without protein, blood sugar can spike and crash. When you add protein, that roller coaster flattens. You stay steady, energized, and focused. Another thing worth mentioning, protein also supports satiety, but in a very different way from fat. Fat gives you fullness through density. Protein gives you fullness through stability. That means when you combine the two, like you do when pairing avocado with eggs, beans, tofu, or fish, you get the best of both worlds, short-term satisfaction and long-term nourishment. Now, let's address a common concern. But Dr. Gardner, I'm not hungry in the morning. I just want something light. That's fair. But light doesn't have to mean protein-free. Even a small boiled egg or a tablespoon of nut butter alongside your avocado toast makes a difference. Or try a soft tofu spread with avocado for a plant-based twist. The point isn't to overwhelm your plate, it's to enrich it. Remember, quality matters more than quantity. You don't need to load up on giant steaks or protein shakes. You just need to be mindful, because each meal is an opportunity, especially as you age, to support your future strength. The bottom line is this: avocados are an amazing food, but they were never meant to be a solo act. They shine brightest when they're part of a balanced plate, one that includes protein, fiber, healthy fat, and colorful produce. That's the kind of meal that not only fills you up, but fuels your purpose. So the next time you reach for that ripe avocado, ask yourself, what can I pair this with to make it complete? Think eggs, think beans, think yogurt, nuts, seeds, tofu, or fish. Think like your body depends on it, because it does. As I always say, health doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. And today you have the choice to combine nutrition with intention and build a stronger, healthier version of yourself with every bite. Yusuf got this. There's something about guacamole that just feels right. It's creamy, flavorful, comforting, and for many seniors, it's become a go-to snack. And that makes sense. Guacamole is made from avocado, and avocado is rich in heart-healthy fats, potassium, fiber, and antioxidants. But there's one sneaky health trap hiding behind that delicious green dip: sodium, and it's something every senior needs to understand because it could be silently undermining your health. Let me take a moment to explain how this happens and why it matters more than most people realize. When people talk about eating healthy, they usually focus on cutting sugar, avoiding saturated fat, or getting more vegetables in their diet. All good things. But sodium, specifically excess sodium, is a major driver of high blood pressure, water retention, kidney stress, and cardiovascular strain. And unfortunately, sodium isn't just something that comes from the salt shaker anymore. It's everywhere, hidden in packaged foods, sauces, seasonings, and yes, even in guacamole. Here's what I want you to know. Store-bought guacamole is not the same as homemade guacamole. Many popular guacamole brands add far more than just mashed avocado and lime juice. To extend shelf life, intensify flavor, and keep customers coming back for more, they load it up with preservatives, stabilizers, and sodium, often without the consumer ever noticing. And the serving sizes listed on the label, let's just say most people eat far more than the label suggests. Let me break it down for you. A standard store-bought guacamole may contain anywhere from 150 to 300 milligrams of sodium per 2 tablespoons serving. But how many people are eating just 2 tablespoons? Most seniors I speak to are eating a third to half a cup of guacamole at a time, whether as a snack with chips or as a topping for their sandwich wrap or eggs. That means they could be consuming 600-900 milligrams of sodium in one sitting, just from guacamole. Now keep in mind the recommended sodium limit for most older adults, especially those with high blood pressure, kidney concerns, or heart conditions, is around 1,500 milligrams per day. So if your guacamole alone takes up more than half of your daily limit, you're setting yourself up for serious health risks, often without even realizing it. And don't assume organic or natural guacamole is safe by default. Many of these brands still add salt, garlic salt, or sodium-based preservatives to keep the product shelf stable. You have to read the label and you have to be honest about how much you're actually eating. Now let's talk about what this sodium is doing inside your body. When you consume excess sodium, your body holds onto water. That extra water increases the volume of blood in your vessels, and that in turn raises your blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure over time can damage your arteries, strain your heart, and increase your risk for heart attack, stroke, and even cognitive decline. And it doesn't stop there. Kidneys also suffer because they have to work harder to filter out all that sodium, which over time can contribute to kidney dysfunction, something far too common in aging adults. Sodium also affects how your body regulates fluid. Excess sodium can lead to swelling in the legs, puffiness in the face, and even difficulty breathing in more severe cases. Many seniors who experience heaviness or fatigue don't realize that it's not just aging, it could be the way sodium is affecting their circulation and energy levels. Now, I want to be clear, your body needs some sodium. It's an essential electrolyte that helps nerves function and muscles contract. But in our modern food environment, we're not suffering from a sodium deficiency, we're dealing with chronic overconsumption. So, what can you do? First, and this is the simplest, most powerful step, make your own guacamole at home. It takes less than 5 minutes and puts you back in control of what you start putting in your body. Here sits a basic version I recommend to my patients. 1 ripe avocado, juice of half a lime or lemon, 2 tablespoons finely chopped red onion, 1 small diced tomato optional, a handful of chopped fresh cilantro, a pinch of sea salt, and I mean a pinch. That's it. No garlic powder, no onion salt, no preservatives, just whole fresh ingredients. Now I'm not saying you can never enjoy packaged guacamole, but it should be the exception, not the routine. And when you do buy it, look for brands with less than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's considered low sodium under FDA guidelines. Also watch for ingredients like sodium benzoate, disodium EDTA, or monosodium glutamate, MSG. Those are all red flags that tell you this product is more processed than it needs to be. Also be mindful of what you're pairing guacamole with. If you're dipping tortilla chips, which often have 150 to 200 milligrams of sodium per handful, you're compounding the issue. A sodium-rich dip with sodium-heavy chips? That's a recipe for bloating and blood pressure spikes. Instead, try dipping with sliced cucumbers, bell pepper strips, celery sticks, or low-sodium crackers. You'll get the same satisfying crunch without overwhelming your system. Here's another strategy. If you're someone who genuinely craves salty foods, look at natural flavor enhancers that don't come with the sodium baggage. Use lime juice, fresh herbs, black pepper, or chili flakes to bring flavor to your guacamole. The less you rely on salt, the more your taste buds adapt, and over time you'll find that you actually prefer the cleaner, fresher taste. This shift is especially important for those on blood pressure medications or diuretics. Many seniors forget that their medications already make them more sensitive to sodium and fluid retention. Even small missteps can make a big difference in how you feel from day to day. So here's my message for you today. Don't be fooled by the label. Healthy guacamole can be healthy if it's made mindfully. But if you're buying it ready-made, not watching your portions, and pairing it with salty snacks, you may be doing more harm than good. Food is powerful, but only when it's used intentionally. Be a label reader, be portion aware, and most importantly, be your own health advocate. Don't let a healthy food become a hidden danger, because every bite you take is either bringing you closer to health or further away. And when you make these small intentional choices like homemade guac with a pinch of salt and a lot of love, your heart, kidneys, and blood pressure will thank you. Every choice matters. And this one's in your hands. There's no question that avocados belong in a healthy diet, especially as we age. They're packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, potassium, fiber, and powerful antioxidants like lutein that protect the eyes and brain. I recommend avocados often to my senior patients. They're nutrient-dense, satisfying, and versatile. But here's where things can quietly go wrong. What you pair your avocado with can completely change how your body responds to it. And this is a mistake I see over and over again. It's not that you're eating avocados, it's what you're eating them with that's causing problems. Let me explain. Imagine this common breakfast: 2 slices of white toast, mashed avocado, maybe a sprinkle of salt and pepper. It looks innocent. In fact, many would call it healthy, but let's break it down for a moment. That white toast, it's made from refined flour, stripped of its fiber and digested rapidly, meaning it quickly turns into glucose in your bloodstream. The result? A blood sugar spike followed by a crash, even if you've added avocado on top. This combo of refined carbohydrate and fat may taste good, and it may even keep you full for a little while, but metabolically it's working against you. Instead of stabilizing your energy and supporting your metabolism, it's triggering insulin release, inflammation, and fat storage. And for seniors already dealing with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes, this kind of pairing is especially harmful. Now, don't get me wrong, avocado isn't the problem here, it's the company it keeps. Let's take another example: guacamole and tortilla chips. You might be thinking, what's the harm in a little dip? But those chips are often fried in inflammatory oils, high in refined carbs and sodium, and practically empty of fiber or protein. So again, you're combining fat with a rapidly digestible starch, a combination that elevates blood sugar, floods your body with sodium, and does nothing to support long-term energy, muscle maintenance, or heart health. Even avocado sushi rolls can be a hidden trap. Why? Because they're typically made with white rice, often sweetened with sugar and vinegar, and surrounded by soy sauce that can pack over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon. So what starts as a smart plant-based choice ends up being a metabolic minefield. What we're seeing here is a pattern: avocado gets paired with refined, low-nutrient, highly processed foods, and that defeats the purpose. You see, the way we structure our meals, the combinations of nutrients we put together, influences how our bodies digest, absorb, and utilize those nutrients. This is called nutrient synergy. When you pair avocado with the wrong foods, you lose the synergy and create imbalance instead. So, how do we fix it? Start by shifting your mindset. Don't treat avocado like a condiment to mask unhealthy choices. Treat it like a nutritional tool and pair it with foods that amplify its benefits, not cancel them out. Here are a few simple examples of how to do that. Instead of spreading avocado on white toast, use sprouted grain bread or whole grain crackers. These have more fiber, more nutrients, and digest much more slowly, helping stabilize blood sugar and prolong fullness. Instead of chips, dip your guacamole with raw vegetable slices, cucumbers, bell peppers, zucchini, celery. You'll be adding antioxidants, hydration, and crunch, without the processed fat or refined starch. Even better, instead of a plain avocado snack, make an avocado and black bean salad with red onions, tomatoes, lime, and fresh cilantro. The fiber and protein in the beans slow digestion and help maintain stable energy throughout the day. For breakfast, pair avocado with a boiled or poached egg, or a handful of cooked lentils, or even a side of Greek yogurt if you're looking for something lighter but still rich in protein. These combinations don't just taste good, they help regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support muscle preservation. Want something plant-based? Try half an avocado with a small bowl of quinoa and sautéed vegetables. The result is a fiber-rich, protein-balanced meal that nourishes the body while keeping you energized and satisfied. See the pattern? It's not just about what you add, it's about what you remove. When you remove refined carbs, fried foods, and excess sodium from your avocado pairings, you allow the avocado to do what it's meant to do: nourish your cells, support your heart, and protect your aging body. And here's something else to consider. When you eat refined carbs with fat, whether it's avocado, oil, or even nuts, the insulin response from the carbs tells your body to store the fat rather than burn it. That's a critical insight for anyone trying to manage their weight or blood sugar after 60. The goal is not just to eat fewer calories, it's to eat in a way that supports metabolic efficiency. That means balancing fat, fiber, and protein, not just throwing avocado on a piece of white bread and calling it a day. Here's the good news. Once you get the hang of it, making the right pairings becomes second nature. You begin to feel the difference: smoother energy, less bloating, improved digestion, better sleep, and even a clearer mind. Your body begins to work with your food, not against it. And this shift isn't about deprivation. It's about optimization. It's about respecting your body's changing needs and meeting them with intention. Avocados are an incredible food, but like all powerful tools, they need to be used wisely and precisely. So the next time you reach for an avocado, pause and ask yourself, what am I pairing this with? Is it something that supports my health, or is it something that steals the benefits away? Small choices repeated daily create massive results. In your 60s, 70s, and beyond, these details matter more than ever. Your meals are your medicine. Choose them wisely. You are in control of your health. One bite, one plate, one smart pairing at a time. Avocados are smooth, creamy, and full of nutrients. They've become a symbol of healthy eating, and for good reason. But what many seniors don't realize is that even healthy foods require healthy digestion, and that includes avocados. Yes, they're packed with monounsaturated fats, fiber, potassium, and antioxidants. But if your body isn't digesting those nutrients properly, they can cause more discomfort than benefit. And that brings us to something most people overlook. Digestion slows as we age, and fatty foods, even good ones, can overwhelm a system that's no longer working as efficiently. Let's take a moment to understand what happens when you eat fat, including the fat in avocados. The digestion of fat is very different from that of carbs or protein. Fat doesn't start breaking down in your mouth or even in your stomach. It requires the help of bile, a substance made by your liver and stored in your gallbladder. When you eat a fatty food, your gallbladder contracts and releases bile into the small intestine. That bile emulsifies the fat. Think of it as breaking down large fat molecules into tiny droplets, so enzymes can do the rest of the job. Now, what happens when the gallbladder is sluggish, or maybe not there at all? That's a real concern, especially for seniors. Gallbladder removal, cholecystectomy, is one of the most common surgeries in older adults, particularly women. And even for those who still have their gallbladder, years of poor diet, inflammation, or inactivity may have caused biliary dysfunction, meaning the gallbladder doesn't contract as effectively or bile flow is sluggish. When that happens, fat doesn't get broken down properly, and that creates a whole host of issues. What kind of issues are we talking about? You may feel bloated or gassy after meals. You may feel like food sits in your stomach or that you need to lie down after eating. You might notice burping, nausea, or even pain in your upper right abdomen after eating avocado, nuts, or oily foods. Some people experience loose stools or greasy-looking bowel movements. Others just feel tired, sluggish, or mentally foggy. All of these symptoms can be signs of fat malabsorption or difficulty digesting fats properly. And for many seniors, it goes unnoticed or misattributed to aging or indigestion. And here's the catch. Most people never think to blame avocados. After all, they're healthy, right? Yes, but again, only when your body can process them properly. So here's what I tell my patients: just because a food is good for you doesn't mean it's good for you right now in the amount you're eating it or in the way you're eating it. Let's talk solutions, because there are several things you can do to still enjoy avocado without overwhelming your digestive system. First, reduce the portion size. If you're struggling with bloating or heaviness after meals, start with just 1/4 of an avocado, not a half, and definitely not a whole. See how your body feels. Give it 24 to 48 hours before increasing the amount. This isn't restriction, this is respecting your digestion. Second, eat avocado with other digestion-friendly foods. Pair it with lightly cooked vegetables, whole grains, or protein sources that your body handles well. Avoid pairing it with fried foods, heavy dairy, or processed meats. That's just too much fat for your system to handle at once. Third, chew thoroughly. I can't overstate this enough. Digestion starts in the mouth, not chemically, but mechanically. When you chew well, you reduce the burden on your stomach, pancreas, and small intestine. That means less gas, less bloating, and better nutrient absorption. If you're swallowing chunks of avocado without properly chewing, your digestive system pays the price. Now, what if you've had your gallbladder removed? This is important. Without a gallbladder, bile drips continuously into your small intestine, but not in the concentrated burst your body would usually deliver in response to a fatty meal. That means you're at higher risk of fat malabsorption, especially if you eat large amounts of fat at once. The solution? Spread your fat intake evenly throughout the day. Don't have avocado, nuts, olive oil, and eggs all in the same meal. Choose 1 or 2 sources of fat per meal, and again, smaller portions. That alone can help ease digestive strain. Another helpful practice is to sip warm lemon water about 15 to 20 minutes before meals. This helps stimulate bile flow naturally and primes the digestive system. Some of my patients also benefit from digestive bitters, a natural remedy that promotes bile production and enzyme release, but you should always check with your doctor before adding supplements. You might also consider ox bile supplements or lipase enzymes, especially if you've had your gallbladder removed or have been diagnosed with bile insufficiency. These can help break down fats more efficiently. But again, supplementation should be guided by a qualified healthcare provider. Let's also talk briefly about liver health, because the liver makes your bile. If your liver is inflamed, whether from fatty liver, alcohol, medications, or years of processed food, your bile quality suffers. And that means even if your gallbladder is working, your digestion still isn't optimal. Supporting your liver through hydration, regular movement, plenty of leafy greens, beets, and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower can help improve bile production. The better your liver functions, the better your body can process the fats from foods like avocado. Remember, your body is a system, and digestion is one of its most sensitive indicators. When digestion is off, energy, mood, sleep, and immunity all take a hit, and when digestion improves, even slightly, everything else starts to come back into balance. That's why I say this over and over: listen to your gut, not just metaphorically. If you feel discomfort after eating something, no matter how healthy it's supposed to be, pay attention. Your body is giving you feedback. The goal isn't to eliminate avocado or other healthy fats. It's to find the amount, context, and combination that work best for your unique physiology. Because that's what true health is about. Not perfection, not one-size-fits-all plans, but awareness, adjustment, and consistency. If you support your digestion will support you. Especially after 60, the goal is not just to add years to your life, but life to your years. And that starts with understanding your body's changing needs and making small, smart choices that add up. You are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. Eat mindfully, chew thoroughly, portion wisely, and most of all, listen deeply. Your body is always speaking. It's time to listen.